Hey everyone, guess that it's your boy Sips back with another video again on Alfred Explore. Guess that I'm just exploring on this one. Just I've said on my last video that I'll be reviewing the chapters of my book, Feelings of Earning Money. Guess that today I'm reviewing this fourth chapter, chapter 4 of the book. The heading of the book is the type of leaders we should be. Yeah, well, and as I've said that I'm going to read through the script that I've read and also explain why I wrote this and all of that. Yabolan. Being able, the heading is the type of leaders we should be. Being able to absorb all the pressure from the community is what made me stronger and more focused, more in my leading skills because of how I saw them vanishing after trying to accumulate skills that I may lead people into the right direction and financial freedom of life positively, but doubted myself because of how I was not able to take responsibility of my academics and some other bad situation I went into in life, then asked myself of how I would be able to take responsibility of being a leader, wondering if I would be able to lead people in the right direction, then leading them into a sinking ship. Being a good leader is being honest, being able to analyze the good from the bad earlier than turning into the wrong direction, being able to take in good or bad stuff that comes from your followers, even if they hurt you, and not panic but try to find a solution for their problems and yours. So that seemed to be the hardest part for me because of how good-hearted I was, shy, and how impatient I was through my life. The only weapon I saw being positive in life was risk management, which was helpful to many people in trading, and saw that it would be mostly helpful in a person's life. I risked most time of my life trying to distance myself from the crowds that may lead me into acting irresponsible, and self-educate myself to know more about trading and about making money in life than being a social person, because I never wanted to explore more of the life that I have been through rather than the one I have planned for myself of being a man of value, take care of my family and friends, take care of my daughter, and find someone who would love me for who I am. I guess that true love was the hardest to find in my community. So I told myself to be patient and stop chasing love from other people, but start up my life as being a single person by not dating or spending more time with others but myself, so that I can find true self-love from within first and expecting love from others. Self-love is the one thing that made me to have more potential in focusing on what I wanted and acted towards that aim, because I told myself no one would act on my behalf. Being able to have self-love towards yourself makes a person to be able to forgive and love a person even though they do not love you back, because you already satisfied by your own love towards yourself. The only love I expected was love from a person who first loved him or herself, then giving me his or her love. That is some of the best advice I learned from Dr. Miles Monroe, from Monroe Ministries videos from YouTube, and his words had a huge influence in my life because I also was a victim of interperspective, which made me chase love from other people around me rather than from myself and my family. Then when I saw the opportunity of being an intraperspective person, people saw me as making myself better than them, and true words and false accusation, and exposed me about my past experiences. Even my family saw me as how other people saw me, but told myself I don't blame them, and I've already forgiven myself and them also, knowing that my life is in God's hands, who only knows the future and not them, because what I would be experiencing would be the responsibilities of interperspective life I lived, of wanting to impress people rather than being with them and be an intra-perspective person and plan a better future for myself rather than wanting rides from sinking ships. Live for the praise of others and you will become their prisoner. Pause. I guess that, as I've said, everyone, on like when I've started to review the book, that I'll be reading a chapter, then try to explain the reason of writing that chapter and all of that. You see, so that's the matter with this chapter and all of that, and the quote that's here beneath this one is live for the praise of others and you will become their prisoner. So meaning that if you as a person would like live like to impress others or live to praise others, like you would like to be loved and all of that, rather than being like a self-loving person and a person who would like to do good for others and all of that, you would end up being those people prisoners, just because at the end those people would give you everything that they have or everything that you need. You see, whilst to them those things are not need, they are just, for example, wants, or they are trying to use like you for as a let me say substance, so that as a substance or a subject, so that they can grow themselves through witchcraft and through a lot of things, just because there are a lot of things that people like do about to influence their own success whilst they are using other people's like values, you see, and all of that, or other people's mindset, yeah, and use those things as if it's their own or property or something, or use those people as subject just because they've helped them before. For example, if that type of person needs help, like for real, it needs it, not just wanting it, yeah, that's when they start to try to help that person. Yeah, but there's also another quote that I might take out some word from. I think that quote is from Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, it's a quote from Abraham Lincoln that I saw in this book. This quote is like, a banker is someone who would lend you like their umbrella when it's sunny. Yeah, when it starts to rain, it's when they take that umbrella back, meaning that they were not willing to help you into resisting that rainfall and all of that. They wanted you to be wet and all of that, but their aim was to act as if they are helping you, whilst they only needed something from you, just because they know when it starts to rain, they'll be like, no, now they wouldn't be only wanting that umbrella, but they would also want you to hold that umbrella for them, just because they gave you that umbrella whilst it was raining and you've kept that umbrella. So you keeping that umbrella was them maybe paying you a debt or something like that, assisting you. But now when they want it back, they would want it back with some additional things. For example, they would say, no, hold the umbrella now, their sleeves and all of that, or want more. They said, okay, brah. Maybe, for example, another person gave you a jacket now on the other side, but they only gave you an umbrella. You see, maybe they are just wearing something that's hot on a rainy day. Now they're like, okay, give me that umbrella, or hold this umbrella for me, or give me your umbrella and also your jacket. You see, now they want something extra. So that's what Abraham Lincoln was trying to explain on the quote, that a banker is someone who would lend you an umbrella when it's sunny and take it back when it's raining. That's the same thing that's trying to be that's being meant by this quote here below by Paul's. Live for the praise of others and you will become their prisoner. Just because they wouldn't imprison you like physically, like taking you to jail, but imprison you mentally, by what they share to you, by what they the knowledge that they're trying to explain to you and all of that. And that would be made of what they give you, just because the more they give to you, it's the more you owe them. You see, so now you can't resist their needs or their wants when they say, no, bro, you owe me and all of that. So that's what the code is trying to mean here. And on this one, like the headings, like the type of leaders we should be, being able to absorb all the pressure. Me saying that is like being able to absorb all the pressure is that some other people will seem like dependent on you as a leader, and guess that's a thing that every leader should know, that everyone that wants a leader, just because there are people who don't want leaders, who don't need leaders, who can lead themselves, and there are some who know that no, they don't have the power of leading, or they don't have even the power of leading themselves, so they want someone who can show them that okay, this life has been like this and this is done like this, yeah, well, and so people who can like add up some knowledge to them so that they can see more like in the future, or see more of what they are trying, that of what they've been, of what it's been explained to them, yeah, but of what they've been or of what it's been shared to them, yeah, well, of the knowledge, yeah, well. But on the other hand, that's what I'm trying to say here, that now you should allow people to be like, sometimes no bro, we are dependent on you, yeah, but don't allow them to be over your head, yeah, no. It's because once you allow them to be over your head, it will be meaning that you have to sacrifice your own, for example, your own time or your own values for their own values, meaning that now you are adding up on them more than you. But respecting their values is what also adds up to your values, just because you'd also learn to their mistakes more than learning to yours, just because it's much important to learn from others' mistakes more than learning from your mistakes. While seeing other people, not saying that you should make others make mistakes before you, meaning that if now you have to go into this tunnel, just because you are the leader, you would take one of your followers and say no, go first, yeah, well, no. Well, it depends on like the value or what you would like to see after getting into that tunnel. But some leaders are like that, yeah, who would take their followers and say no, go first, so that they can see if it's danger there or not. They wouldn't lead them by going first and see the dangers and say no, it's not dangerous. But some leaders would be like, no, I'll lead you through this and go first into that tunnel, so that like they can be seen as leaders, or would be like, okay, let's go together, just because I wouldn't risk my life alone and all of that, yeah. So it's like that, yeah. What I'm trying to say, yeah, you should absorb all the pressure, yeah, and be a positive leader, and not be like when you're a negative leader, you are a person who likes to sacrifice others before you. Yeah, so you are being a negative leader that way. That's why I'm saying that be a positive leader. Suppose a positive leader wouldn't sacrifice their followers or any family member for their own success, but would only know that the sacrifice that they take affects them and also that type of family member into improving their lives and all of that. So it's a two-way side, not only you looking forward for you to benefit and all of that. So that's the type of information that I'm trying to share, that leadership should be like that. Not this type of leaders that we have, and a leader, they know that now they're going to benefit out of your plan, and so now they use your plan without you being there, to, or maybe take your presentation and present it, but when the money is being taken out for that presentation, they don't even share that type of money with you, or be like, okay, bro, be my partner, but they only take you out of the plan, take you out. That no, it's your plan, but it's not you who came up with the fund and all of that. So they would like to eat out of your mindset, for example, or out of your own benefits, just because if you had a connection of that, of being like, okay, if I can go to this person would give me money, you would have done that, but now you've used their own connection in getting that money. So now they're like, no, this thing is all theirs, just because now they are benefiting out of this. But if you didn't think of that, they wouldn't be benefiting in anything. So that's why I'm like, not be a negative leader, but be a positive one. But focus on getting what you get with your team, not with only yourself. Unless you lead yourself, there's no one else for you to follow. Just because as a true leader, you don't force leadership. You don't force followers to be like, okay, follow me just because I'm your leader. No, you don't force leadership. You only lead yourself so that others can see in the process that you're going through, okay, this guy is being a great leader and he leads himself into a great way, and I can see in how he's like reacting on himself, like this thing is working for him. Then followers would end up following and be like, yeah, okay, this is a leader like that, and so that's the type of leaders that I'm talking about here, just like Nelson Mandela. Most like Nelson Mandela never forced anyone to be like in the political struggle and all of that, but he was like, no, I'll be in the political struggle, I'll fight for my country and all of that, and I'll be in prison and all of that, And I also heard this one story from this interview which I've saw on YouTube of this guy that has been interviewed, that people are lying about Nelson Mandela spending 27 years in prison. Yeah, he confirms it in that video that, okay, people are lying of spending 27 years in Robben Island, but he spent 27 years in prison. But in Robben Island, he spent 18 years. Then in Pollsmoor, he spent about 9 years, and also other jails that he went to. I suppose there are also other jails more than not Pollsmoor and all of that, but I'm not confirming this because I wasn't there. But on what I've read from his writings on the Long Walk to Freedom, that's what he confirms there, that he went to Pollsmoor, and in Pollsmoor he spent also some years and all of that. So that guy wasn't there in Pollsmoor to confirm that, okay, this guy spent 27 years in prison, but I would confirm that now. Yeah, he says that he spent 27 years in prison just because that guy confirms it on that video. No, he spent 18 years in Robben Island. Then that 9 years he spent in Pollsmoor and also other prisons. But it's not that what I could confirm, just because I wasn't there at that time, and all of that. But me, on hearing that interview, he's just trying to, on my way of listening to it, like devalue on how Nelson Mandela sacrificed his time for the freedom of the country. Yes, for real, he sacrificed his time, and also the leader that he talks about there, of that now he's the one that spent 28 years in prison, then he was sacrificed. And yeah, we respect that guy also. It's not that now we give respect to Nelson Mandela only, we also respect that guy that he talks about. I don't know about the name of the 27 years that he spent in Robben Island. We respect that. Maybe he's not that known, but in my way, if I know his name now, I would say I give respect to that, just because that's the leader. Those are the type of leaders. It's not saying that now we should end up in prison to be leaders. Now, imprisonment, it's what holds you back from acting what you would like to act. So that's why they created prison, just because they first imprison you mentally. Once you're imprisoned mentally and they see that you're in prison mentally, there's no need to put you in a physical state prison, just because they can see that, okay, this guy is already mentally fearful and in prison. Just because if we say he should do this, he does it straight. If we say do this, he does it. So he follows every step we tell him to do, just like in prison. In prison, you don't have to be like even forced. If they say now they are closing at 12 o'clock, they are closing at 12 o'clock. That won't change anything. Only the prison warders have the power to change anything. If a prison warder or the prison warder leader says, okay, things will change today, those things will change because of that prison warder information. But not just a prisoner or a person that's just sitting in prison trying to change things. No. So meaning that now, even in mental imprisonment, it's like that. When someone tells you, okay, do this, without you having that knowledge of this would affect you like this and this, or without you saying that, okay, no, I won't do this. So you do as that person say. I'm not saying everyone is mentally like in prison, but if it benefits you and someone says this, you would do it. But if it doesn't benefit you or puts you in a risk or put other people in a risk and you do it, that's mental imprisonment, just because you are doing something that you are not happy of doing, but now you do it just because of the cause of what you gain. Maybe you gain money, or maybe you gain, I don't know, whatever you gain, but on the risk of others, not on their behalf. For example, if you do it on their behalf, them also should benefit out of that. But most leaders now, they don't do things on the behalf of the others. They do things on the risk of others. They are putting others in risk, just because they would rather risk someone to go to prison for them creating those persons' ideas. More like what happened to Nelson Mandela. Some of the people who made him to go to prison was because they wanted to act towards what he was trying to do, and they wanted to be seen also as political leaders. These political leaders who are strong and all of that. Some of them were like, no man, this person is going to take position of like our position from us and all of that. But that was not his aim. Just like Dalinje on what he was saying, but I don't want to confirm it. I don't want to confirm it and say this because it's also our chief. I don't disrespect him and anything. I don't know him like physically and all of things, but he's the chief of Abatembu and all of that, and I respect what he's doing for the country. He's just trying to take the country to a next level. He's just trying to make us better people, just because that's rare as a black person, like doing something positive or something that's benefiting the black economy, like in South Africa or in any black country. That's rare. And you should be connected, and all of that. You should be connected with the white society, and just like he did. He went to Israel, so that he can get those funds for those medical and everything and all of that. Yeah, he is a leader, on the other side. Just because he also says it there that no, he went around and South Africa trying to be funded by the government, but he didn't receive any help from our government and all of that. Meaning that he didn't get that opportunity to do what he wanted to do, but now he had to go out now, and try to find help outside. But that's also leadership, but I don't know if if it's with our sacrifices or not, but I won't confirm that, but I would like say, yeah, that's a good thing. I'm clapping hands for him for trying to upgrade the medical matters of this of South Africa and all of that. But he should also consider trying to send our own students or people who are from South Africa, so that they can go and get that knowledge. Not try to go there and get people who have that knowledge so that they can use it on us, you see, and all of that. But try to create a group, or try to raise people whom he know that now, okay, these people, and he'd be using them on that side to create those same values that those people that he went to find their sponsor from. For example, if he would have sent like maybe young students from South Africa to go to Israel, so that they can create businesses there, so that they can or some of them to go and study in those medical and all of that, medical institutions, and also to study on how to make those machines that make medicine and all of that. That process would have gave them the value of coming back home and creating those things that they learned that side. Then now they've been doing it themselves more than going there and wanting people who already exist in that medical world, and so that we don't know what the aim of Israel and all of that, and on our people. But I'm not thinking of a bad side only, but there's always a negative and a positive side in anything. But you should also think of the negative side, the side that would affect us, and also the side that would benefit from what we are doing. Not think of that now, okay, we'd only benefit just because he benefits financially out of what just because he would benefit financially for sure of creating hospitals and all of that, just because it would be tenders, and us also would be benefiting business owners, others, and all of that, just because there would be tenders, and all of that, so yeah, we would benefit, but also the knowledge. What's important is to benefit in knowledge, and not just benefit in a physical way or financially. I suppose that's the aim. But mentally, you should benefit. For example, if you benefit mentally, just like what Steve Biko was trying to share with us. For example, the book that he wrote, Black Consciousness. The thing that he was trying to share with Black Consciousness, he was trying to empower the black economy so that they can think of themselves, so that they can create their own medicine, so that they can create their own institution. Yes, because most of the institutions that we have are influenced by the white economy, or the people who went out and came back with that knowledge and be okay, let us share this knowledge, or those who come from Europe and founded their institutions here for their benefit of finances and all of that. We don't know that what they really want to benefit, just because there's always a negative and a positive side in the story. But they should always focus on the positive side, that everything that they do should give us a positive influence, and not only focus on the negative influence that the thing would. Yeah, they should focus on the negative influence, on what that thing would affect us, and trying to resolve those matters. That no, bro, you shouldn't affect us in negative way like this, so that us also we can get that knowledge, and us also we can be encouraged to do more and all of that. So I like what he done to go out there and try to get some sponsor for Israel. He's a good leader also. That's what the type of leader I'm talking about here. And being a good leader is being honest, being able to analyze the good from the bad earlier, That's also what I'm talking about here. That's what I'm trying to explain, that now they should try to know before they just take the funds of those funders. That okay, what's your aim in all of that, Yabolan? What's really Yabolan and all of that? Try to investigate if really those people or really those type of land are really into that, Yabolan. And yes, that explaining was here, Yabolan. And I also tell the people here that now the only risk, Yabolan, the only weapon I saw being positive in life was risk management, Yabolan. Just that risk management is a world thing, Yabolando. It's a thing that you can use into analyzing if something would affect you, negative or positive. It's the same as what I've just explained now about they should analyze things. That's risk management. They should analyze things that okay, bro, Yabolando. This thing will Yabolando. That's risk management, Yabolando. That's what I'm talking about. Most people use risk management mostly in like. They would tell you in forex about risk management that okay, I've used risk management just because I didn't want to lose funds. So I've went through some trade, or I've went through like a analysis where I've analyzed that okay, will this really happen? Or should I sell or buy and look that? And also in forex, there are risk management. As I did also risk management about forex. That's whereby now I've lost interest in forex. But in this book, I tell people a lot about forex. That I wanted to do forex, but at that time I never had full knowledge of it. But as I went on, I had like the knowledge that okay, most of forex traders are scammers. But there are forex traders that are who trade like positively and they make funds and all of that. But most of them should work with the bankers and all of that so that they can benefit. But those who don't work close with the bankers, most of them are scammers, or some who work below the bankers so that they can get those information. Some are scammers. So those are some other struggles that I've went through, like, and started show trading. That's why I've lost interest. Not that I'm not interested in doing it. I'm interested in learning like the basic of it, like the true knowledge of it, of really how people really make money. So that now I've lost interest. That now I'm like, no, I won't trade again. No, I would trade, but not at the risk of others. If I had to scam others to be a successful trader, to me that's not being successful. Just because I've risked someone else like success. Just because I'm scamming that guy and all of that. But maybe if that's the only, but I wouldn't say if that's the only way. Maybe if that's the only way of doing forex, I would have to quit it and try a better way of doing money. And just like I've said on the past chapters and also showed you the evidence on the past videos, that now I've been trying a lot. I've just tried being a pilot, but that was rejected just because of funding of 250,000, which I've paid them 25,000 upfront. And I've tried also moving forward in my company, like my construction company, which I did some things well. I did some things well. I've been looking for tenders now and all of that. I have a couple of tenders, which I want to go through, and I want assistance on this. People would be like assisting me through finances, through managing the business and all of that. Just because I'm not an accountant, a professional in accounting, but my person has the basic knowledge of business and all of that. Just because I grew up in a business home whereby they've sold like chickens and all of that, so I know all the risk management particulars, whereby just like I've told the story on the past chapters, that now I had to go. My father was teaching me finances, but in other way. I suppose he used to send me plank powder, like plank dust. This plank dust, it's made for chicken, like on the floor, so that they can get warm, so that they wouldn't get colds, so that they would die. That's another part of risk management that he was doing. Just because he was managing his risk, that no man, I don't want to lose this chicken. So if I leave this floor wet here, this chicken would die just because of cold, or if they just lie on this floor, on this concrete floor and all of that. They catch cold and die without me making profit out of this. So he had to pay me that money so that I can come back with that plank desk so that he can put on that floor so that it can be warm. And also he put in lights there. And he also bought what? Also bought electricity for that light. So he also invested into so doing a business is all about investing, losing something so that you can gain something. Just because he was also losing electricity, he had to buy electricity, he had to buy that plank test, he had to send me that plank test, and all of that. So that was risk management. Even though it wasn't a thing that would really affect it and all of that, but he had to manage that so that those chicken wouldn't die and also would grow well. I would through that process and all of that, so that he know that now, even if he didn't know now, those chickens would be bought. But he had that gut feeling that okay, if I can grow them and be full chickens, and people would buy these chickens and all of that. So it's not a thing that he was shocked people would buy. No, but it was a thing that he had a gut feeling that okay, if I can grow it into full chicken, people would buy chicken just because people like chicken. Chicken is what's been eaten in a lot of families and all of that. So it was like that, but he risked his finances, his own money. So he risked on doing that. But it was not all about that. So in business, you should risk to earn. And that's the same thing that I'm telling people that okay, don't mind of risking your money into business. If you have to risk that money, even if you lose it, you've gained knowledge from losing it and all of that. So that's the type of leader that my father was in my household. Just because he led me in a way of being like, okay, you should take risk to earn a profit. So that's why I also took risk. Just like the past year I took a risk with the money that he gave me to go to college, which I took a huge risk, which I'm trying to reinstate now or repay that risk, just because I've just spent that 25,000. Not that I've overspent it, but I was trying to invest that 25,000 into something that would make me more than that 25,000, just because I was trying to. But I went into a lot of business ideas just because I didn't have like this one idea that worked for me. In some way, like I don't blame anyone or anything, but I blame that there are people who use the spiritual world so that these things wouldn't be successful for me and all of that. So that I don't know what they wanted to gain, but they've used the spiritual world in some other side, trying to for me to not be successful in these ideas and all of that. But I don't know the process, when will it end and all of that. But there's still and some effects of what they've been doing to me after. But there's always risk at the beginning of trying to get something. Just because I've risked really at 25,000, just that I've spent it on. I was trying to make a mini speedboat on my side, which I know that now this is a town whereby there's a river, and this river, if I would have taken that speedboat and made it in the type of way that I wanted to make it, I would have made profit a lot from that speedboat, just because I would be renting out that thing now, getting rentals from that, and it's a mini speedboat, so a lot of people would be renting it out. So it was an investment to me, but it was a risk, just because everyone have to risk finance so that they can get more profit. So my father was that type of leader through all of that process. That's why he was sending me and all of that. And here I risk most of my time trying to distance myself from the crowds that may lead me into acting responsible and self-educate myself to know more about trading and about making money in life. Guess that's what most people wouldn't consider doing, and distancing yourself from crowds, just because people think that crowds affect you more than your inner perspective, like your self-knowledge and all of that. But mostly you're affected by yourself, what you think, how you act, how you say things. That's what affects your life mostly. But as a regular person, or as a young person mostly, it's because maybe older people would have the same knowledge, some of them, just because I can see them. Some of them, they like to be in their homes doing their own things and all of that, and some successful people are like that mostly. They don't like much crowd, just because they know the knowledge of crowds, just because crowds might affect your mindset of acting irresponsible. For example, if now you were thinking of buying for example, like buying a house with the money that you have, and someone else came here and was like, no, bruh, I want to go to Johannesburg, and now he affects your mind now, for example, to buy a car. Maybe you end up buying a car. A car, for example, it's a thing that depreciates more than a house, just because a house value goes up but a car value goes down. You might change your mind and be like, no man, I have this money, so let me buy a car, let's go to Johannesburg, this car. Was not knowing that now you might spend also on that road, and so that money would be depreciating, so now you wouldn't be having the value of buying that house anymore, meaning that that money you've overspent it. Now you don't have that house, you only have a car, which in a few years would also drop the value. When you sell it, you've lost some money. So that's why I say that crowds might affect your mindset. It depends on how you know yourself, on what you really tell yourself, okay man, I would like to do this and I wouldn't change my mind even if someone would come and do that and all of that. But in some ways, I've just told you about some other ways of influencing people. Through the spirits, that's what they do mostly, some spiritually influencing other people. So it's not about the mindset also, it's all about the mindset, the body, and also the spirit that are around you, like the and guess that and also this thing also of like, in what I'm telling you about, like the influence other people can have, it's also you being wanting to be loved by others. That also affects your mindset, just because the more you want to be loved by others, the more you want to be seen as this by other people, not trying to make yourself that valuable, but when you want to be seen, not like being that person for real, it also affects how you would spend, for example, that type of money, or your mindset in acting irresponsible, that would affect you, just because now you chase love more than be like, no bro, I don't care if that person loves me or not, but I'm going to do this shit even if they like it or not. But this thing would make me benefit. If I benefit, that's beneficial on my side. Maybe they wouldn't benefit on that, but it's not you, it's them. It's not them, it's you that should benefit first and be like, yeah, you are good now. Then you can share with them. That's why you should be people would say now you are a what's this name again? Selfish, but you're being selfful. Just because when you're being selfful, it's you filling up your cup, and filling up your knowledge, adding up what you need first. Once you have all your needs, your cup is full, then you can share with others. That's selfful. Not being selfish, but other people will see you as selfish. This guy is selfish just because he don't mind about us and all of that. So you want him to be successful. But no, you're being selfful. Once you've been successful, then you can share what made you successful and all the knowledge and all the ideas, if you get that money and all of that. So that's a thing that people confuse with selfish and selfful. They confuse that thing. So many leaders are being selfish some other side, but some are being selfful because they know that now they have to be successful so that they can lead other people into that success. Just because you can't lead a person into something that you never felt or you've never had and all of that. So now when they see you wanting to like gain from that thing that you're doing, they would see you as selfish, but no, you're being selfful on the other side. But it's life, everyone. But being loved is not a thing that's forced. You gain love, you should, and you gain love from you giving it back, and I guess that on this thing of Mind Rose, guess that on some of the contents that Miles Monroe have done, I've seen a lot of things that have influenced me a lot, and on his content and all of that, just because he really talks the truth there, and all of that. He talks facts. That's why I quote him out there on how he influenced my writing and all of that. And also other writers like Nelson Mandela, Steve Biko also influenced my writing and all of that. Just because of how Steve Biko mostly influenced my writing in a way of wanting to change the black economy's mindset. Just because he doesn't want the black economy to depend on the white economy, or not being in a racial way, racist way, but he only wanted black people to depend on themselves. Just because if you can mostly see or like on the things that we eat. We mostly focused on like the people who really help us are Catholics and also Muslims. Just because food we buy them from Catholic shops, and also Muslim shops, and so meaning that now we don't produce ourselves as the black economy. The only thing that we produce for a lot, we like mines and all of that, but we don't eat from mines. We don't. Yeah, some of the mines make us get money and all of that, but we don't have 100% ownership of those mines. Just because maybe 50% is owned by a white person, maybe 30% a black person only owns 30%. Just like the banks, most like the banks. The banks, we don't own the banks. I don't know any person who founded a bank, a black founder that would say, no, I'm not founded a bank. No, even Motsepe never had a foundation. I would say now he founded maybe Sundowns. I don't know the story of Sundowns. Maybe he founded it. I don't know. But I don't know any black person that's a founder, unless of this guy that founded this, maybe this cement business from Nigeria. That's the only guy that I have. Dangote might be the guy that I would say is a black founder. Because he founded this black this cement business and all of that, and even now he still runs it. The Dangote family still runs that business. So we don't have any founders that I know of. So we don't get wealth from founding things. Yeah, you see, we get wealth from influencing people to buy from what's been founded by other people, and also having shares from what's been founded by others. So meaning that we don't have any ownership. To have ownership, it's you founding something from scratch, from bottom, like saying this is my plan. I've started this plan because of this. So the risk of this plan to work is this and this and this. Knowing like the background of that type of business, it's what's important of making you a founder. Not just knowing, okay, this business is making a 5 million rand, but you don't know what's the background of founding that business. Now, okay, when this business had no like money, what did this person do for this business to be on its feet? What did this person, who did this person first like get connected with when he tried to get money and all of that? All those people who helped you at the beginning, yes, because those are the ones who would be with you at the end. And even if you're earning, you would have to pay them back. Be like, okay, bruh, I've seen like your effort whilst I had nothing, and you try to give this knowledge, you try to give this financial advice and all of that. That's benefiting to the business. Even if you are losing, maybe you don't make any money, but you benefit from that knowledge. Just because the next time that thing happen and you like in that certain like circumstance, you would know on how to attack that certain circumstance. Okay, the last time I tried this, this happened negatively, so now. But I didn't do this to try to make it positive. So now you'd have a way of attacking that thing in a way, and just meaning that you've gained knowledge. So there's no loss in the business world, or like in founding something, or like there's no loss. But only you gain knowledge. If you lose, you gain money. If you win, so both sides, it's the same thing. But it's only on how a person thinks of the losses that they take and all of that. But there's no negative way of saying that I'm lost. No, bro, you gain knowledge about losing and all of that. Just like I'm telling you now that I've lost this 25,000, but it's not that I've lost this 25,000, but I've invested it in a way of that. Now I have knowledge, and I gain knowledge from that investment. Whilst the people who thought that now they were spiritually depressing me, they thought that maybe they were killing me, or something like trying to make me quit on like the process that I would like to go through. But no, they wouldn't make me quit. But I only gain knowledge now. I know that, okay, I've lost about 25k now. Okay, I should try to earn more now. Just because the next time now I should get more than 25. That's the aim now. Okay, 50k. I would have to know now, okay, how would I have to handle that 50k, or the money that's more than that 50k. I don't know what money would come again next time, you see. But on that value that comes again now, I have ways of knowing, okay, now the last time I lost this 25k, this was the mistake, this was the mistake, this was the mistake. So this is where they've killed me and where they've tried to affect me. So now I have now the influence now, then the negative influence that they try to influence me. So I have that knowledge now and all of that now. So I should like, maybe next time it would be a positive thing. It wouldn't be a lose. Maybe it would be a win in a certain way. Just because. But a lot of stories start like this, but a lot of people have lost at the beginning, but at the end we gain. But it's important is founding. But just I'll tell you here, and I also tried to invest into one of my business which I had, like, it was a plan that no one would have ever thought of, but I was like, yeah, let me start this plan, just because I was just chilling at home. You see, I was just chilling at home and be like eating these bananas and all of that. Then I think I was in two plans. I think I've done two plans with that money, but I was like, no, on this one, I'm chowing these bananas. Then I was like, no, bro, there are no ways of storing bananas. Then I was like, okay, man, how can I store a banana and all of that and would it rot like the way it is? Just because if you put it in the freezer, later on when you defrost those bananas, they would like again like Bolando be rotten and all of that. And also if you put them in the sunny, you see every place. So I was like, no, man, there should be a way. Then I came up with this plan of making my cereal and all of that. Then I've turned this banana into a cereal, my bro, without like any expectation or seeing anything, but having a knowledge of seeing another brand. Then I was like, no, let me make something that's similar to this brand with this thing. Just because on my investigation, I went through and investigated how a lot of cereals are made. Then I was like, no, man, a lot of cereals are made of maize and also, what's this thing? Wheat. They never use like bananas and all of that. Then I was like, no, man, let me try to do something, but they only create flavor as bananas and all of that. Then I was like, no, man, let me try to do this with this banana. Then, bro, I tried to do that. Then it was successful on my way, but just that it's where it's like the type of community that I'm into. It's not a community whereby you can just make it. So the people around me don't have that just yet. But I don't know them later on. Maybe there would be some other people who come and be like, yeah, bro, we like your idea, and we're looking forward in funding in it. Or if I can go out there to different places, like to the cities, maybe I would find funding. Just like I've seen on the news. I think on the news, on the World Investment News, I've seen this this content from this news lady. But they say that on the April 9 and 10th of April, there would be world like investors. They would be in Johannesburg. So all of that, it would be up to me if I can get the type of sponsor of someone that can give me the type of money to go there, or if I can get those types of funds to go to Johannesburg and try to like put in like the effort, and try to present like my business idea to them, that maybe it might make a change. Maybe there would be an investor that would be interested in that idea, just because it's a rare idea and all of that. And everyone, that's the type of information that I'm trying to share. That some in other ways, not that people don't like want success, but there are no people that to support them, just because of the community that they're into. There's only hate, there's only negative energy, them trying to depress them and all of that, or them trying to gain out of them. Maybe there are a lot of things that they do. They sacrifice even people for their own success. Maybe they would like that person to die so that maybe they can use their ideas. That's more similar to what Tesla, just because Tesla was a person who was trying to build the motor cars with battery, but that wasn't done by him. It was done by another person, which that person used his name. So on the other side, it might be things like that, just because some other people like live mostly in the spiritual world. They like to use witchcraft and all of that. So some things like that, like those spirits live around us in this world. So those are things that we don't talk of, but we only talk of the financial things that we see, and also like the success that we see in people, but we don't know what those people do in their background. We don't know what they did to be successful. But now in this chapter, when I'm talking about the type of leaders that we should be, it's trying to share that we as leaders shouldn't like try to sacrifice others for our own leadership, but only try to benefit out of our ideas, just because you have a lot of things that you can come up with as a person, just because everything that's around us it's mostly man-made. But the problem is that now it's man-made, but there's no support to support it, just because you can create it, but if there's no support, like it would be hard for it to be out there and be seen by other people. But for example, if it's a solution to others, other people would want it for sure, just because you are solving their problem. So that's the type of leaders we should be, like come up with solutions, and not come up with things just to benefit, so that they can live a soft life, then die just because they've experienced that life just because of other people's sacrifices. That's the thing on this chapter. That's what I'm trying to share on this one. Hello everyone, just that I see you on the next video. Alfred Explore. Press that like button and also press that subscribe button. Guess that live, let me repeat the quote below. Live for the praise of other, and you will become their prisoner. Pause. That's my ending, everyone. You said I will end this video with that. That's the mindset a person should never have. You shouldn't praise other people or live to embrace others, but only embrace yourself. Be your own leader. If you can't lead yourself, look for a better leader, a person who know you know that this person would lead me in a great position and all of that. Look for those type of, don't just follow just because followers can be put into risk. Some leaders can sacrifice you for their own leadership or for their own success. So it's only you seeing who's the better leader or who's the good leader for yourself. Or if you don't see a better leader, you should try to lead yourself. That will take you to a better position. Hello everyone, see you in my next video. Hello.